Hey everyone, it's day 4 of Pine Soot. Hopefully you guys have been having a pretty good time with these challenges as well as your permamap runs and the daily runs in general. That said, it's a new daily, so let's talk about our challenges and any particular things that we need to discuss with each of them individually. Today's daily is taking place at Abandoned Plot. This one is a new one from last season. Not too bad in all honesty. The Imperial Artillery Targeteer and the Shield Guards can be a little bit annoying if they have specific contracts on them, but for the most part, not really too bad to deal with. That said, let's talk about our particular challenges for today. The first one is a conflict group by the names of Brute Force and Sheer Will. Now these two will actually limit what type of operators you can bring based on their damage types. Sheer Will only allows you to bring in operators that use arts damage, and Brute Force only allows you to bring in operators that use physical damage. There is the whole thing about hybrids, but we'll get to that in a second. There's a few other things I want to mention real quickly. You are more than welcome to use any medic and any bard that you feel is necessary. Now I will say Falanic is going to be the only one that is going to be restricted by this in the sense that she does have an S2 that does do arts damage. So if you're going to be bringing her in for Brute Force, you need to make sure she's not using that skill. Next up is the thing discussing summoners. Now summoners are going to be looked at by the operator themselves, not the summon. So if we're looking at Mayor, for example, and you're using Brute Force, Mayor only does arts damage. Even though her summons do physical, she will be only considered for arts damage, meaning that she will fail Brute Force but work fine for Sheer Will. Now, let's talk about hybrids. Hybrids are pretty much operators that are capable of doing both physical and arts damage, and those two specifically. There are operators that do other ones, but these are the only two we're going to pay attention to right now. This can be done by trait, talent, or skill. Now, if it is by skill, the only rule we're going to have for that is that the skill has to be used at least once during the run. So, if you feel like bringing in Thorns or Blue Poison, heck, even Kyobe, make sure you take advantage of that and also pay attention to that skill rule. Up next is, wait, that's illegal. I love this one. This one is pretty simple on its own, by the way, as well. It's just simply true damage cannot be utilized, so you can't rely on Calcit and her monster to do true damage on her S3. You're going to have to figure out ways to get around that, especially if you're using Brute Force or Sheer Will. Last but not least is a personal favorite for this map and unique to it alone, Low Profile. This one is actually a very simple challenge. Just don't get detected by the Imperial Artillery Targeteer. That's it. If you hear this tone, you failed the challenge. You can out DPS it if you can, or you can utilize characters that focus on camouflage. There's actually a good number of them. And with that, that's going to be all that we have for today. Hopefully that answers all the questions that you may have. If it didn't, feel free to leave a question down below in the comments. I'll try to answer them as soon as I can. That said though, hopefully you guys have a pretty good time with these particular challenges, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow for more challenges to talk about. See you guys all again real soon.